Hi, it's Marsh from Berlin. Thank you for joining me in the Health and Wellbeing with Marsh channel. I'd like to talk to you today about depression, an invisible illness and a lot more widespread than people believe. Indeed, in the UK, nearly 1 in 5 ladies, I think it's 22% or so, suffer depression or suffer with depression. A little bit less in the males at just over 16%, but it's still, how should we say, it's still on the increase. The last survey was done a few years ago, and it's quite worrying indeed. Hand in hand with the states, itself a lesser degree, it's around 11%, and the biggest percentage seems to be the 18 to 25 year olds over in the States, both male and female. But with depression, it's not just a case of being fed up for a few days and being unhappy. Plenty people are monsters, dismiss it and think it's nothing. Not a real illness. Well, you couldn't be far more wrong. It is indeed a real illness and with real symptoms. It's not a sign of being weak, it's something you can just get rid of, or a case of pulling yourself together. The great news is, though, is that with the right treatment and right support, you can make a full recovery and, at the very least, manage the condition. Now, with depression, there comes a wide spread of symptoms. They can be feeling sad, hopeless, lose interest in the things they used to enjoy. It can last for days, weeks, months, on many occasions years, and it can affect work, social life and family life. As mentioned, the symptoms can be many, and they come to different streams. The psychological symptoms can be continuous low mood, sadness, the feelings of helplessness, low esteem, feeling tearful, feeling guilty, and people feel guilt-ridden, although in 9 out of 10 cases it's not their fault. Irritable and intolerant to others, having no motivation or interest, and indeed unable to make decisions, not getting any enjoyment, worried, anxious, and its worst form, suicidal and harmful tendencies, and at very least thoughts. The physical symptoms can involve moving and speaking more slowly, and it's evident to people. Changing weight both ways. Some people put on weight, some people lose weight. Constipation is another symptom. Aches and pains, low sex drive, a change to the menstrual cycle, disturbed sleeps and struggling to get to sleep and then awaking early. Social symptoms, avoiding contact with friends and loved ones, taking part in fewer activities and your hobbies and interests which you once participated in, difficulties in your home, work and family life. And there's different severities of depression. The GPs, doctors tend to put it into 3 categories. There's mild depression, which has some impact on the daily life. And then there's moderate, where it's a significant impact on your daily life. The severe, where it's almost impossible to get through the day and indeed can become psychotic. I'd like to mention grief and depression. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish as there's many similarities in their characteristics, but there are also important differences. Grief is a natural response to loss, whereas depression itself is an illness. When grieving, feelings can come and go, but you can also look forward to things and enjoy things and acknowledge a future. Whereas with depression, you are constantly sad. You find it hard to be positive about the future or enjoy anything. With depression, it can come on slowly, and difficult to know that you are unwell. And indeed, it's not unusual for families and friends to suggest that there is something wrong. It's noticeable, in effect. There are other types of depression, including postnatal, bipolar, seasonal affective disorder. Now, when to seek some help from a doctor. Ruling of the thumb is that it suggested that you get help for depression if it is that you are depressed for most of the day, every day, and for over a 2-week period. The causes of depression, many times there are triggers, such as life-changing events, for example, giving birth, bereavement, losing a job, being abused physically, mentally, and sexually. If there is a history of family depression, it is likely that you may experience it yourselves. You can also become depressed for no reason at all. It just happens. Now, the treating of depression, it can include a combination of lifestyle changes, exercising, medicine, talking. The treatment will depend on your doctor and how severe is diagnosed it, whether or not it be mild, moderate or severe. There are talking therapies, cognitive behavioural therapies, otherwise known as CBT. This is often used for moderate depression and severe depression, and also it's usual to introduce antidepressants at that stage. Again, that will be decided with the GP. What I will mention at this time is any discussions with your GP will be purely confidential. The only time a GP would break his confidentiality whilst you talk about such matters, if it is indeed that they think that you're going to harm yourself, or that of others. That is the only time they may potentially break the confidentiality, is if they fear for you and that of others, the safety of others. Now, living with depression, many people with depression will benefit by introducing lifestyle changes, including more exercise, cutting down on alcohol, because that can lead into a spiral all on its own and then one runs off onto the other, giving up smoking and eating healthily, which we'll talk more of later. Reading a self-help book may help you, and perhaps joining a support group, which may be beneficial with people sharing the similar experiences and situations, and by sharing that with other people it can be supportive, and a common thing you'll hear is you're not on your own, and certainly the figures what we mentioned earlier proves that. And a diagnosis, as we said earlier, if it is that you're struggling every day, most of the day and for a 2-week period, it's time to see your doctor. If it's going to be affecting your life, your work, your interests, your relationships, and it may be that you go on to having suicidal thoughts or self-harm, which is not uncommon. Be open and honest with your doctor. You'll get more out of it if you open up completely. And there is no physical test for depression as such, although a doctor may conduct some blood test or urine test to rule out other illnesses. Strangely enough, thyroid can bring on some similar symptoms. I mentioned briefly before about foods and one's diet. There are many foods and herbs that one can take to help, motivate yourself, make you feel better, zip your mind up a little bit if you wish. And it's not all potentially foods what we dislike. I'll run by some of them with you. Fatty fish such as mackerel, salmon, sardines, flaxseed, canola, soybean oils, nuts, especially walnuts, are very good. And of course, dark green leafy vegetables. On the fruit side, fresh fruit is brilliant for depression. Apples, bananas, grapefruit, plenty of other citrus fruits. Apples, but we said apples, blueberries, kiwi fruit, other kinds of berries. Yeah, they can help you overcome your depression. They will help you. There's compelling evidence that people who eat plenty of fruits and veg have fewer symptoms or depression or stress even, yeah, and overall negativity and general happier in their lives improve. The negativity is reduced and it helps you to improve your lives. And one I always say to everyone, a real big one, yeah, and it was mentioned briefly, sleep, yeah, as in so many illnesses, there is nothing better than getting a good sleep and one with a deep sleep. Perhaps think, I'm not saying coffee's a bad thing, but maybe having a coffee, not having another one, say, after tea time, yeah? Go for something like a golden milk, something relaxing, even a herbal tea, yeah, to finish the evening off, yeah? Try and get a good night's sleep. Well, I thank you for listening to the video, and it's one of them, isn't it? Whereas people don't go around with a label on their head, and people can't see that someone is suffering. Yeah, very high percentage figures that I've mentioned. Yeah, people need help. And it all boils down to a little bit of respect and acknowledging what depression is. It is a mental illness. I thank you all for listening. I ask you to keep up the good fight, and please like and subscribe in YouTube, which is like you would like to see some future videos. A good night from Berlin.